Welcome, low ego action heroes. Yeah, it's practicing critical thinking here on the Delta CX YouTube channel. But you might notice there's a whole bunch of new things up on the screen, and that's a reminder that we are not streaming very much on this channel anymore. So while we thank you for your subscriptions, we are moving nearly all of our shows over to a new YouTube channel, customer experience, customer centricity, so that we can really broaden our topics. But critical thinking will stay on this channel. Hello, Chiwat and Ana Lucia. Also know that we've got a new Patreon I want everybody to at least check out. You can join for free, and it's kind of like a mailing list, or you can certainly join at a paid tier and really help support the channel. So thank you so much to some of our early Patreons who are already supporting us at various levels. I hope I got everybody on the list. If your name is missing, let me know so I can fix it. And I am updating this every day because Patreon makes it much more easier than YouTube did. So this is critical thinking. We've only got 20 minutes today because I do have something right after this, but you've sent in 3 things and I am so prepared for this. I have props today. I feel like some 1970s comedian. I have a whole bunch of things I've put on my desk that I'm going to be holding up and showing you based on one of the things that one of you sent in. So that will be third today. All right, so let me flip over to my screen sharing and we can take a look at what was sent in. Let's see if I press this. Did that work? I think so. Okay, so we've got the chat room, the optional tip jar, and we've got my screen. So the first thing somebody sent in was a Medium article called Untold Narrative as a Head of Design. And by the way, if you want to send something in, we do this stream roughly every other week. Oh, I should probably close my email so you're not watching those come in. So you can send it in at deltacx.com/links. Everything you could want to know about this stream is on that page. So go and browse through. I don't know the person who wrote this, but it looks like they're talking about magnitude and solitude as a head of design. All right, let's see what we can figure out. This doesn't look like a very long article. I didn't read it ahead of time, so let's see what we can take from it. It's a personal story, lingering insecurities, fear of being judged. I'm sharing it. In the past 2 decades, designer has undergone significant evolution. With the emergence of web and smartphones, an improved user experience became evident. Quantum leap in design's importance elevated its status, leading companies to establish dedicated design departments and granting design professionals executive roles. Having witnessed this evolution, I had a grand aspiration of becoming head of design. Hey, I'm with you. I would love to be head of UX, head of experience at someone's company. That is definitely the dream. So it was cool. In 2019, I finally realized my dream. I was the head of design at DoorDash. Okay, that's a well-known American company. I immediately updated my title and made a business card. Okay. It exceeded my expectations. The job provided me with a tremendous amount of autonomy and creative freedom, particularly in a company like DoorDash, which fosters a strong bottoms-up culture and does not impose prescriptive art direction from executives. I was able to shape the direction of product design, have a significant say in design craftsmanship, design processes that enhance team efficiency, and build the team in a manner aligned with my vision. This sounds great. This sounds like an absolute dream. And I know not everybody wants to end up a people manager or someone running a department, but for those of us who do, this sounds pretty good. I'm waiting for the shoe to drop, as we say. Where's the but? Visibility, control, joy, best career decision I ever made. But it's lonely. Okay. Now that strikes me interestingly, because I'm a person who usually doesn't feel loneliness, even when I'm extremely alone and isolated. So let's see what she says about this. And I'm sorry, I'm giving her a she pronoun and I don't know her pronouns. Everybody, please put your pronouns everywhere so I don't misgender you. I guess I could call everybody they. People who are reading along with me, what do you think? People on LinkedIn, people on YouTube, what do you think? No other executive peer who speaks the same design language you're most familiar with. Yes, and I think that's where sometimes we're going to teach a little bit of that language, but in general, we have to adjust our language so that other people don't feel like we're speaking a foreign language. By the way, I've got a fan blowing on me. Let me know if that sound is bothering you. And we also changed the EQ on my microphone. Let me know if it doesn't sound right. You're the primary spokesperson. Yes, I would love to do that. When you're faced with difficult decisions that could impact the experience of millions, you're the ultimate decision maker. This sounds great. Is this person complaining? These are challenges you've never faced before. There's no clear protocol to follow. Your decisions rely on instinct and first principles. Hopefully not. Hopefully you are not just making decisions on instinct, but hopefully really good data. That's why I talk so much about working from evidence, knowledge, and data so that we're not just going by instinct or gut or preference. And the loneliest aspect is you can't discuss this sense of isolation with your team because it could be perceived as insecurity or incompetence. I think that's where leaders need more coaches and mentors. I do leadership coaching. That's an option for people. One of our new Patreon levels includes a level, let's see, I think I can put this up on the screen. One of our new Patreon levels is really just for leadership, and you're going to get a lot more attention and personal coaching from me as part of that level. Did that come up correctly? Yes. Okay, very good. Testing new things. Andre says, it makes sense you'd feel alone. Everyone looks up to you and you're the primary decision maker. Yeah, I mean, if you really are the top of the chain and the manager above you isn't from CX or UX or design, then you're at the top and you might be alone at the top. And so, yeah, that's where, whether you need a therapist to talk about emotional issues or stress or dealing with stuff, or you need a life coach, business coach, mentor, or other coach. And again, I can throw myself in the ring. You can pick someone else. I suggest people get that. You shouldn't be alone with your struggles or your problems, especially if your problem is loneliness. Don't be alone. Don't further isolate yourself. So here's her tips. Let's see if we think these are good tips and actionable. Embrace your limits and imperfections. You're only human. Hi, Adebayo. Have humility, honesty, and empathy for yourself. You can't be perfect. Show vulnerability from time to time. Okay, I think that's fine. Engage in a few projects where you can go deep. Stay deeply involved in a few priority projects and have an understanding. Work along some teams. Sure, if you have time to be in the work, be in the work. You might have a big enough hierarchy that other managers or directors are looking in on that work more than you are. But yes, a head or CXO or chief of design should not feel disconnected from some of the projects that are going on, especially priority projects. Strengthen the design leadership bench as your first team. Exactly. So this person might be at the top of the ladder, but where is the rest of the hierarchy? Ana Lucia says, but doesn't that also depend on the kind of relationship you try to establish with your peers or department? Serious question. Yes, we want to have great relationships with our peers in our department, but that doesn't mean we're telling them our problems and our struggles. Yeah, not everybody's going to confide in each other. I might not tell a product manager what I struggle with. They might not be from my world. So anyway, we're going to jump we've got 3 things to go through, and the last one's really long, so I want to save time for that so we don't go over. In general, this seems like an okay article. It's someone's personal experience, and it sounds like generally good advice, though of course high level and broad advice that you might interpret your own way. Our next Medium article is from a few years ago. Chiwat says, I feel that forcing yourself to appear perfect as a leader may lead to tendency to deny having made mistakes. Being vulnerable can be more personable. Yeah, and I think that's true for everything, even if you're a junior. If you've made a mistake, let's talk about it. You're not going to be fired. I don't fire people for making a mistake. I don't fire them for 10 mistakes. It really depends what they're doing. So we've got to be able to have these conversations. So here's an article from almost 3 years ago from someone I don't know who says, "What on earth is business anthropology?" Now, I haven't heard that term at all, which means it sounds like this probably didn't catch on if this person was trying to introduce a new concept or approach, or you know me, I'm a little jaded. I'm going to guess that this is something we're already doing with a new name on it, so this person can say they have a thing. What is business anthropology? When you work in a consulting company as a business, Debbie, the Patreon link is over your face. Oh, I thought I took that off. I hit all the buttons that said take it off. Okay, that should be off now. Thank you. I'm looking at my screen and I'm not looking at what's broadcast, and so thank you. I need those reminders. Please always tell me. I want to know if I have food in my teeth, and I want to know if I forget to dismiss an overlay, so thank you. Not intentional. We've got the links down in the corner. Business anthropologist, which is not a title I've seen. I mean, we could go to LinkedIn and we could take a look at jobs and we can see if that is a common title for jobs. Business it's not even coming up. Anthropologist. That's always hard to. Anthropologist. I think I got that. And this would be worldwide. Not sure that this is accurate. Let's try again. Nothing. Okay, so I don't know if this is a thing, but let's take a look at it anyway. Challenge to provide your clients data-driven, research-based findings that problem to help them modify their strategies and be more competitive in the market. Yeah, to me, that's what a CX or UX researcher does. You don't have to be a business anthropologist. You don't have to be a strategic archaeologist. I get the feeling this is just a name. How are you doing, Kiseka? I think this is just a different name on a thing we're already doing. I mean, many people who are in research and service design are often doing this type of thing. So, willing and able to present research findings. Yes, we should all be doing that. All of us in research, whatever type of research you're doing, even if you're running a survey, you should be presenting your research findings easily digestible. You need to provide companies with depth. Yes, I don't think research should be fluffy or surface or just trying to prove something we already think. Yes. So ultimately, I have to say, even though I skimmed this very quickly, as you all saw, I'm not loving this article because I feel like this is just a researcher, and I would rather say that this is a CX or UX researcher, or maybe it's a qual researcher, or maybe it's an observational researcher. It looks like this term didn't catch on. It looks like there is no job with this title, so I think this didn't catch on. So let's just call our researchers researchers. Thank you. End of scene, right? Thank you, end scene. Oh, did I hit the right thing? Yes. Okay, great. Just join now. Can I know the topic you're speaking on? Yeah, absolutely. This is our every other Friday practicing critical thinking stream where people send in articles and social posts and other things they found where they want my opinion on them. And we try to break them down and ask questions to practice our critical thinking about the topic, about the author, about the way they've written. And so this is practicing critical thinking, which we do every other Friday here on Delta CX. But please note, we are moving most of our shows to the new channel, Customer Experience, Customer Centricity. Please subscribe there. And instead of doing a lot of live streams on that channel, we're going to be doing live webinars, which are completely free. So see the bottom corner for the webinars link, cxcc.to/webinars. I think we have already 8 planned, and they're all totally free. So we hope people will sign up and join live. Meltem had a job in 2019 that was called UX researcher and business anthropologist. I wonder what the company would say. Maybe the company said UX researcher and they added business anthropologist because they were hoping that would go somewhere. Who can say? This is what we're going to really be spending our time on. Chiwat says, looks like advice for careers outside academia, like PhD to research, yeah, which we can still call researcher. Okay, so I got sent this one. Some of you may have seen this on LinkedIn. This is from someone I've never heard of and I'm not connected to since we're logged into my account right now. And I am not sure how to pronounce this person's name, so I'm going to call this person Pelin. I apologize if that is not correct. So Pelin says, have you ever looked at a Pez dispenser and thought, wow, this is really genius? Because I did. And using that ingenious mechanism was always something I was looking forward to. So those of you who aren't familiar, Pez is a little plastic thing. It's like a rectangle with a character's head on top. And you fill it up with candy. And then when you pull the head or character back, a candy kind of pops out. And so it was like it was always called a Pez dispenser because the candies were called Pez, and it was a dispenser because you kind of pulled back the head and a candy kind of pushed out at you and you could have a candy. Now, of course, there's many other ways to eat candy, but the Pez dispensers were fun for being a little bit interactive and having these characters, and some people felt they were collectibles. So if you're not familiar with Pez dispensers, you can Google it, but that's a short version. I don't have one here, so that is not the props I've promised you today. Pelin says, I'm thrilled to unveil my latest concept project, One and Done Toothbrush. This isn't your average toothbrush. It's born from a 5-day design sprint fueled by the passion for enhancing travel oral care routines. Okay, so let's start to put this story together as Pelin tells it. This is a design outcome of a design sprint, which we're certainly going to have some questions about. Chihuat says, I saw this article, unnecessary to me, felt like fancy things designers might buy. And it sounds like the focus here is travel oral care. And I think we're going to have a lot to say about this. It might go a little bit late on our 25-minute show, but let's read what Pelin is saying. What sets One and Done apart? It's the clever twist of a Pez-inspired mechanism. Imagine having a toothbrush that securely holds up to 20 toothpaste tablets, making it spill-free and hassle-free during your adventures. With just a simple twist, you get a fresh toothpaste tablet every time, ready to keep your smile bright and confident. The question at the core of this design was straightforward. So this is the problem that Pelin is evidently solving. How can I make oral care sustainable? Let's focus on sustainable and convenient for travelers. The answer lies in the replaceable brush parts, reducing plastic waste while ensuring your toothbrush lasts. Okay, so I have a lot to say about this, and I think we could end up going pretty late on all that I want to say. But to augment what we're talking about, let's follow Pelin's link, which actually drops us on a Behance page. I'm not logged into Behance, but here's what you see. You see a toothbrush, and inside of it is a bunch of round kind of, they almost look like mints, you know, the way mints are made. And let's take another look at the problem Pelin said she were solving. Teeth cleaning twig. No, I don't think so. Ana Lucia says, I have a lot of questions about the sustainability of this design, the amount of plastic for one use. Thank you. Where's my applause? Thank you, Ana Lucia. That is one of the points I was going to make. You know, it's amazing that for a sustainable design, this isn't made out of bamboo or something we tend to consider more sustainable. This is plastic. So it says the separate toothbrush and toothpaste is a persistent issue for individuals on the move, especially while traveling. Said no one ever. I would like to know what research went into this that said, you know, we spoke to, we observed and interviewed a whole bunch of travelers, and we found toothbrush and toothpaste are really a problem. Juggling two separate items not only occupies valuable space in travel bags, but leads to spills and messes. So this is another said no one ever. I've never had someone say to me, you know, I'm packing to travel, but it's the wildest thing. I have no room for my toothbrush. It's just packed. I do not have the valuable space for the toothbrush. So wanted to talk a little bit about toothbrushes. So first, actually, since I'm gonna need to be bigger, let's just take a little bit more This results in travelers compromising on their oral care routine. So evidently it's so difficult to bring a toothbrush and toothpaste with you when you travel that you're just not going to brush your teeth, and you're going to create bad hygiene and bad health risks. Yeah, Amy says toothpaste never creates a mess when traveling. I do want to point out that everything here is made of plastic, and that it looks like all of the replacement parts are also plastic. And I think this is a pretty common result of a design sprint. And I think I'm going to use this example when we do a webinar in some weeks about how to make design sprints better. So first of all, let's ask ourselves the question. The twig, yeah. Let's ask ourselves the question. How do we know if and how they validated this as a problem? It's easy to say, hey, I bet some travelers are having problems with toothbrushes and toothpaste. But my question would be, did they purposefully validate that? As in, they purposefully went out and said to people, do you ever have trouble with toothbrushes and toothpaste? Yeah, Solomon says they must be trolling. Ana Lucia says, the best experience I had in hotels were with the freebies. They give you good shampoo and conditioner. I think I saw somewhere in her Behance that she was thinking like maybe this is for people who go to like hostels and they're not going to hotels where you might get some supplies. But let's talk about toothbrushes for a moment. So this is green. My green screen is now blue. So this is blue screened out. But this is basically a pretty typical toothbrush that I can buy here in Italy. It might be €1, €2, €3. You can't see it, but it comes with this little plastic cap, which means I can snap this around the head of my toothbrush, and I can keep my toothbrush from running up against dirty shoes and other stuff. That head is protected. So if you're worried that just throwing a toothbrush into your bag is somehow unhygienic, you've got this tiny little plastic hat. What about if I want to take a more American approach? Here's my travel toothbrush based on something I bought from Target in America, #not-sponsored, and most toothbrushes will fit in this plastic. Now it's super hygienic. Nothing's going to leak out and nothing's going to get in. I can't imagine the travel bag that is packed so much that this doesn't fit in. This is about 20 centimeters, 8 inches, and maybe 2 centimeters or an inch wide. I can't imagine this just not being able to be slid into somebody's bag. And it's great. It's certainly compact and does the job. Now let's talk about what if we don't want to bring gel toothpastes with us. A lot of people forget that gel toothpaste in our squeezy tubes, first of all, I've never had one explode, so I don't feel like that's a real problem. Maybe if you don't screw the cap on enough or something, it could explode. Maybe you have a low quality cap. Okay, it's possible. But they're selling the idea that you really need these kind of, these little non-gel toothpastes. Chiwat says there were a lot of sensible comments in that article. How do you keep the tablets dry? Yes, I also saw somebody ask, if you have a disability, how are you going to balance the tablet on the head of the toothbrush or something? Could the root problem be packing when traveling, not just a toothbrush? I don't know, because I don't know when this wouldn't fit in some sort of bag. When I look at the backpacks, let's imagine you're a backpacker and you go to hostels, you're not staying in hotels. I can't imagine you not having some sort of pocket on that backpack where you can get this in there. But let's talk about non-gel toothpaste. What if we're worried about exploding toothpaste, leaking toothpaste? I didn't even bring all of my props. So first of all, sometimes I travel with things in plastic Ziploc bags so that if they explode, it's controlled. I've also bought a wet bag from which you can buy online. Are people familiar with wet bags? If not, I'll try to run and go get mine from another room. You'd have to wait. It'd be boring. But wet bags are great. They are leak proof and they roll up and seal at the top. I typically travel with my toiletries in them so that if I do have a leaky shampoo or something like that, it just stays within that bag. And it might get goopy on other toiletries, but it won't explode out into the bag. So you do have lots of options to control messes. But let's talk about some other options. Now, this is from Lush, hashtag not sponsored. But these are things that I bought from Lush. And let's take a close-up look. So this is, and I know it's in Italian, but this is called Dirty from Lush. And basically, these are little tablets. And basically the idea is this tablet has, I think, a little baking soda in it, a little mintiness in it, and it's been pressed real firm. It doesn't seem to have the coating that hers did, but they stay intact. And notice how many I can take. Her toothbrush takes 20, which would mean 10 days of travel if you brush twice a day. I think there are a lot more than 20 in here. It says 100 pieces. And again, I can't imagine a bag packed so tight that we can't fit this in. I mean, this is 8 centimeters. You know, this is quite small. Look at it compared to the size of my hand. So, this is real small. You have 100. That means you could travel for 50 days if you're brushing twice a day. These are great. Oh, Amy says, I've tried those. They're cool. And by the way, my stream is blipping a little. Please excuse me. And by the way, you don't have to balance these on the end of your toothbrush. The idea is you put one in your mouth, you start chewing it so that it breaks down and it gets a little moist, and then you start brushing with a little liquid. This is what I think a children's version. I bought it just to check it out. Lush calls this one Refresher. And it's nearly the same thing, but it's a little bit more of like a bubblegum flavor, maybe some candy flavor, birthday cake flavor, and you can't see it because of my green screen, but they're fun colors. And they don't leave your teeth, these colors, I promise. And so, again, this is a nice little compact container. I can't read how many it says are in here. 80, plus or minus 80. So yeah, you could, for a real small container, you could take a month or two of tooth stuff with you. So ultimately, you have these two things. They could definitely fit in your bag. And have we created plastic waste? Yes, this is plastic, but it is recyclable. There's a recycle symbol on that, so please use it. This you're hopefully not throwing away anytime soon. I think I've had this for 12 years. So not creating ongoing waste. Ader says, I like that it's called Lavadenti. Yeah. Because Lush writes things in that. Yeah. In this one says dentifricio solido. So this is, of course, dentifricio is toothpaste. Solido is solid. So solid toothpaste. Chiwat says, I just bought something from a Japanese store that sells chewable toothpaste tablets. You chew it and then spit it out or rinse it. Oh, okay. This is different. These are, you start chewing them, but then you start brushing when they're in your mouth and they foam up a little bit and they're great. So again, hashtag not sponsored. Buy them from Lush, buy them from somebody else. Lush is not cheap. These were not cheap. But I figured, what would I do if I really wanted to try to travel light and I wanted to reduce the liquids and gels that can't go through some airports, or you're limited in how much can go through airports, then, go with toothpaste for that. Amy says, the whole design sprint sounds like someone, oh, thank you, Andre. We just wanted to play and explore a Pez idea and make Midjourney images. Yeah, the images were very nice, and I did get the feeling that they were, what's the word I'm looking for? AI generated. And yeah, so to me, the biggest problem with the design sprint is it sounds like I love Pez and why not make everything Pez? But mostly I'm concerned that the problem identified isn't a real problem. I'm not sure who is having a problem where my toothpaste is so unhygienic and I can't fit it in my bag. and my toothpaste is just so difficult to deal with, and I can't seem to figure out how to travel with toothpaste. Some of you know that before the pandemic in 2018 and 2019, I traveled 100,000 miles per year. And I didn't have a toothpaste explode. I had some hair conditioner leak, I had a little body wash leak, but it was in my dry bag, and so it just stayed inside the bag. I wash out the bag later. And so to me, I'm concerned that this isn't a real problem. And even if we talk to some backpackers and say, hey, you ever have problems with toothbrushes and toothpaste? They might be like, yeah. And then my next question would be, have you tried? Have you tried solid pill-formed toothpaste? No, does that exist? Cool, problem solved. Hey, have you tried a neat little container like this? You could probably get them on Amazon for 3 cents. You know, have you tried putting your toothbrush in that? No. Hey, problem solved. Hey, have you ever had your bag packed so tightly you couldn't fit your toothbrush in it? No. Cool. So yeah, I think that a big mistake in design sprints is how did we validate the problem, and is this really a real problem for anybody? It might not be. So yeah. So it looks like I'm in a different. I'm in my CXCC thing. I don't have the Low Ego Action Heroes ending queued up. I have the other ending. You'll just have to deal with it. But we're going to wrap up. So I'm trying to keep shows around 25 minutes. This one was 31. Thanks to everybody who joined in. Remember to check out our Patreon, our new YouTube channel, CX-CC, and please sign up for our free webinars, cxcc.to/webinars. We're going to be holding almost a free webinar every week into at least mid-October as I've been planning them, and they're on all kinds of really interesting and broader topics than we've done here in the past, because I want more of you to be thinking about business and strategy and the bigger arc of the customer experience and strategy. I suspect that person doesn't know how to pack or doesn't have much experience. Oops, I forgot to, your comments are off the screen. Sorry about that. So thanks again to everybody who joined. I've got to run. I'm going to be on a podcast, but have a super weekend. And let me just tell you what's coming next. Let's see, Monday, we're going to do a CX audit on the new channel. We're going to be talking about Starlink, which we recently purchased, and I'll be talking about the customer experience of Starlink. Tuesday will be office hours with Dr. Nick. I need to check that he's available. That'll be on the other channel. And then I'm hoping to have Oz on the show on Friday on the other channel, but he just moved and I got to make sure the date still works for him. So as always, check the events calendar to see what's coming up. It's there on the deltacx.com/links page. Yeah, more toiletries on board is certainly a problem, but again, once you're toothpaste, if your deodorant is solid and your toothpaste is solid, you can even now get solid shampoo, which I've tried and it worked okay. Solid conditioner didn't work as well for me because of the length and type of my hair. But yeah, we're on it. Okay, thanks everybody for your great critical thinking. Have a super weekend, and I hope to see you on Monday on the other channel. Bye.